Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we check out the Plethora X5 TonePrint pedal board from TC Electronic. For those of you who have recently seen any of the Sweetwater videos that myself and my friend Uncle Ben Eller shot, you would know that I am a huge fan of TC Electronic pedals for a long time, well before the Sweetwater videos, of course, but I'm a huge fan of the Hall of Fame reverb, the flashback delay, and my favorite gate of all time is the Sentry noise gate from TC Electronic. Also, the TonePrint feature that most of the TC Electronic boards have is just, it's still amazing all these years later. Now, with the Plethora X5 pedal that we're going to check out today, we're going to combine all of those things and just get a whole bunch of pedals in one housing. Now, before we go any further, you can consider this a sponsored video as TC Electronic has asked me to show you guys the Plethora X5, but all thoughts and opinions are mine. Now, what this does is it effectively makes a pedal board under one single pedal housing with a few bells and whistles. And I saw a lot of people online comment on my Instagram post of the X5 saying, or asking what I thought, since you couldn't dial in any of the effects, which we will get to in a second. You can absolutely modify and dial in the various effects, but you can do anything you want with the Plethora X5. I just think this is a really cool, well executed pedal. So any of the effects that you can put in any of the slots on the X5 can be tweaked with a simple 3-knob control that you can go into under edit mode. Now, in addition to that, you can use up to 5 of the effects simultaneously and store up to 75 tone prints in each of the unit's 5 effects slots. So each slot, you have 75 tone print options at your disposal. Now, something that I found really useful and that I didn't actually know it had until I read about it was this automatically saves all of your effects moves and your settings. There is no hold down to save the pedal board. It just saves it. You tweak something, it's there, it's saved, it's committed, you're done. Now, something the Plethora X5 does not have is any of TC Electronics' drive pedals. Now, this actually makes a lot of sense to me because anyone who's going to want something like the Plethora X5 is probably already going to have their favorite overdrive pedal, so why include that when really this is a multi-effects unit, not a drive unit. But to kind of include that, they have a built-in loop that you can insert anywhere you want on the pedal to use your favorite drive. And in this case, I have a Klon KTR overdrive in the loop, which we will get to in just a second. Now, something to note with the Plethora X5, these 2 switches right here are basically the foundation of what makes the X5 tick. So on my left, your right, I have a play mode, and then I can go into edit mode. And the edit mode is where I would tweak or adjust any of the tone print effects that I have loaded on the board. Going back to the play mode, I can now use the second switch, the board switch, to basically bank up to my various boards. Now, this is really useful if you are playing a gig and you can save a board per song if you'd like. You can also just have this as different scenarios with an effects loop slot in the middle, but then maybe you have a high gain board with a noise gate up front, etc., etc. But for right now, I'm going to go back to my first board and we're going to play around with it. So I have my Ernie Ball Music Man Sabre out, and my current configuration is I have the insert effects loop for my slot 1, or actually my slot 5 rather. Then I have a flashback 2 delay. I have a Corona chorus. I have a Helix phaser and a Hall of Fame 2 reverb. I love this combination of effects because I think it's just, I don't know, it's the sauce board, as it were. So here's my bass tone. That's my neck position. Then I'll go into kind of an in-between position. And here's my bridge position. A little bit more gritty, a little hotter going into the front of the Jupiter Effects Omacht. Let's see what a little delay will do. Now, my Klon KTR overdrive is in the loop of the Plethora X5, and I can just leave that on because I'm going to toggle it with the effects loop, which is my 5th pedal position. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on and add some sauce. And turn that off. Turn that off. Let's try the Corona chorus. Maybe I want a little bit more reverb. Cool. So let's say I want to tweak the chorus. For example, I'm going to go into edit mode, and these pedal positions correspond with what I am editing. So right now I'm in the flashback delay. So I'm going to go over and select my chorus position, position number 3, and I now have 3 different controls I can use to control the Corona chorus. So let's get a little bit more of a watery tone. It's pretty good. It's automatically saved these settings, so I can go ahead and move on and tweak something else if I'd like. So let's go over to the Helix phaser. I don't have this engaged, so I'm gonna go back to my play mode and engage it. I'm gonna turn off my reverb. I'm gonna go back to edit. I want something a little slower, I think. Pretty good. And I'm done. I can go ahead and move on. Back to the play position. I'm going to turn off the Corona and the Helix. Back to my bass tone. Maybe I want to mess with the reverb a little bit. So I'm going to go back into edit mode. More depth. Okay, so maybe I want to mess with the reverb. A little bit more, I want a little larger of a proverbial room, so I'm going to go back to the reverb in the edit mode. Now, over here on slot 5, there are presets that I can scroll through. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Currently, I'm on Cathedral. Let's try Church. Push down on the knob to select it. tall. I like that. I'm gonna leave that. So I'm gonna go back to the play position. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and just scroll through to another board. Now these boards came stock with the X5. Let's go to board 3, rock face. Now, in this particular case, the effects loop is very last in line, which is where my overdrive is going to be. Let's see how that sounds. So these foot switches have mash, the mash feature, the mash technology. So if I hold it down in this particular case, if I go to edit mode, so the mash, I believe, is the feedback. So if I do this again, I'll go ahead and I'll just hold down the mash on the delay 2 slot 4, and you'll hear it kind of start to spiral and loop. And when I want it to stop, I simply let go. It's pretty cool. And lastly, at the time of this filming, the Plethora X5 retails for about 480 bucks, just under 500 bucks, which may sound like a lot for a single pedal, but really this is 5 pedals and much, much more. So honestly, for that price, this could replace an entire pedal board that fits in your backpack. This is a really, really cool board. I've had a lot of fun with it. It really is kind of a good balance between features and function, and it is not too overwhelming with, you know, various sub menus or folders or anything like that. I especially found the desktop software to be very, very useful and insightful. And really, if you want to really deep dive the Plethora X5, I would highly recommend getting the TonePrint desktop software for Windows or Mac. Very, very useful. Yeah, Plethora X5 from TC Electronic. Very, very cool. I will link down below in the description if you would like more info. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.